All right. So, I spent a very good amount of time in my life deciding whether or not I myself should have kids because a Vietnamese. Oh, the other day I had Mr. Vin, who is my parents' friend. Oh no, I'm okay. And he tells me, he says, "Oh, how old are you this year?" I'm like 36 in my country and 37 in the U.S. Oh, how old's your parents? 72 and 64. Mommy 64. And he goes, "Oh, now's a great time for you to have kids so that they can live longer. It would make them happy." You to hear each word he says. He's 60 himself. He's 70 himself, 60, 70 years old. And I try to challenge. It's like me trying to talk to. It's like you trying to talk to. And I was just like, we're not gonna get anywhere with this, so I'm not gonna further this conversation because you know what I mean. And I says, make them happy, to see if he would catch it, to see if he would catch it. When someone tries me like that, and I'm just like, let me rephrase what they just said.
Yeah.
And he says they will live longer and they would be happy. So I'm supposed to sacrifice my life.
Yeah. Well. No. It's
So they expect, all right, so anyway, so they expect, that's what they expect, right? I'm, the fact that I came to America, went to college, and then all of a sudden ordained as a monk for 8 years, unlike any other in the entire United States.
Like most of the Vietnamese also like work hard and have a career, and they are very like
Right.
so Asian.
Right. And furthermore, no felony record. That means full of opportunities and a bright future ahead. And gave it all up to become a monk. You know what I'm saying? So I spent a good majority, okay, before becoming a monk. I've already sat there and thought about it, and I'm like, if you have a kid, how would you raise the kid? And I would compare it to the way how my parents raised me. Then I would look at other factors in society.
Yeah.
And I've thought about it 1/3 of my life. 1/3 of my life I've thought about it. And I was just like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because I don't feel qualified to be a parent yet. That's people, they don't ask themselves that before they have a kid. Am I qualified to teach? To lead? This is the making of a god. When you have a kid, this is the making of a god. You know what I mean? And let's talk about Asians for a second. So recently, there was a PhD student who just so happens to be Chinese that killed his assistant professor. And they're trying to look for a motive. They don't have any motive right now. But apparently he wrote something about bullying and blah, blah, blah. So I think he shot, I think he shot his professor. It's all over CNN. It's all over the news. And I thought to myself, and the guy kind of looked like him and kind of looked like me, a hybrid of me and Venerable Lee. And I'm like, oh God, now when I'm going to go walk the street, someone's probably going to target me because, of things like this. But things like this happen all the time. But now it's more pronounced. Now it's more visible because of the media. But I'm just thinking in my head, and I'm like, number one, out of all the races, Chinese, which is very rich in history and culture, that led this man to kill. A student killing a teacher in America on a visa. Oh yeah, wait till the next president gets up there and go, no more visas for Asians. They've already had an issue with Hispanics and people from the Middle East. And then and then Asians, right? The rise of Asian crimes, right? Years ago we had Asian hate. Everyone hated on the Asians, and I mean, people in New York were punching Chinese women in the face and trying to, really hurt them, right? So it's like, so if I were to sit there face to face with this Chinese guy, and I would be like, "You're a PhD student.
You don't know.
What got to your head that what you did was going to affect a lot of Asians in this country?" You know what I mean? So that's what we face when we have kids. Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Have kids in this country, is that people, they've lost the richness of culture, they've lost their origins, the heritage, traditions, all of the stuff that you guys get to witness. You guys are like the last generations to get to witness all the good stuff. But this later generation,
I believe it. It's
no, should not have kids.
My mother gave birth to me, and I like you said, I compare my life to what I will bring. Even though if I have a good economy, a good house, and good car, suppose I took care of them financially, which I can as a parent, and I teach them about like what I know, but still. How about this global warming? How about this economy? How about this government? I don't control any of these things.
Right.
And how that's gonna impact? I can make them a monk and put them in a monastery, and they will still not be a good. They will still not live a good life because of how everything is going on.
Right.
And I'm not being like over panic or overthinking, but to me, I have not found a reason to be a parent. I think I love my unborn child that I've never seen so much that I am protecting that baby by not having the baby.
Right. Mind you, people don't even believe that climate change is real.
The
You know what I mean?
Maldives is gonna be wiped out from the map in 10 years. Wait for that, and
And,
we'll talk about it.
and San Francisco, San Diego, San Francisco, was it San Francisco, San Diego? All the business there closed down because of crime rates.
Are you serious?
Los Angeles Police Department, LA,
Uh-huh.
they're now down to I think 9,000 police officers. It's like record low. So what do we think is going to happen? What do we think is going to what? No chair. What do we think that's going to happen? I'm old. I need a chair to like put my feet on. What do we think is going to happen when there's no police officers enforcing our law? Our laws.
God bless U.S.
With all the money that we have in the U.S., San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco. I don't think it's San Diego. San Francisco. The Nordstrom store over there has been open for like the past 35 years. Just closed. So it's like very real. When you read this stuff, it's like very, very real. Like breaking into cars or stealing. And then they have somebody over there, he calls himself Batman. They run around trying to solve crimes and, play Batman. Vigilante. That's what our world's coming to, and you want to bring a child to this world.
Nope.
And what happened if you so happens to live in LA or San Francisco? Oops. Someone might kidnap your baby.
I have a problem with it. And talk about money.
Oh, and by the way, our local police department here, me and Venerable Lee spoke to 2 deputies who are cadets. Their police training academy is now 4 months. They shoot 10 rounds, one of them will hit. The other 9 is going to go somewhere. We've seen it over and over again. National average, 1 per 7 shots. So not only crime rates going up, we have a shortage of police officers, and they are poorly trained.
Only 4 months.
Poorly trained. Right. When you see a police officer draw his gun, you need to book a flight and fly somewhere. You need to get on Expedia.com and book a flight. Because one of them bullet might hit you.
Only 4 months for police training?
Mm-hmm.
That's not real. Are you serious?
We heard it ourselves.
That is the shortest degree ever.
I stood there and I asked him, we're not going to say which county, but it is within 50 miles from here. I'll tell you that. It's from 50 miles from here. Okay? And one of them was a soldier. One of them was a private in the army. The other white kid, I don't know, um, well, his background, but I only spoke to the Russian kid who is a private. No, I'm not private. Yeah, he is private. No, specialist. He was a specialist in the army. He made a lot of sense, and he wouldn't be lying. And he's telling me the process through it, and he gave examples because I also went through the academy, so I know what to look for. It wasn't like, oh, it's a 5 minute conversation. It was a 30-minute conversation.
Wow.
How long does
The
it
first
take
one in Florida
usually
to
for
be
police training?
7 months, 7 8 months. So that's what our world's coming to.
When the government pays more, we will go for it.
Our educational system, we have issues in that. So if you become a parent and you do not have a lot of money and you put your children through the public school system, now the about the critical race theory, education, wokeism. Oh yeah, they go through that. If they are born, if your children come to Florida, stay in Florida, study in Florida, and they say gay or somebody says gay in the classroom, we have a big problem. That's what our world's coming to. And not to mention how delusional our leaders are. Certain governors. Certain governors in the state.
One kid in the school identified himself as a cat. And then he said, I want to bring a little box to the school. And the parents said, yeah, my son identified as a cat. What should let him be? And they denied this request. It was the national news.
Right. So now your children is going to go to school with other children that identify themselves as giraffes, deers, cats, Mickey Mouse, and it's all okay. A lot of things are all okay. If not, then you have to homeschool your child, right? Which is most parents are doing, which is homeschooling their children, and or send them to private school. God, Lord knows how much that is.
So much money. Even the schooling and colleges.
Because my bachelor's degree program was $100,000 something. Just think about that. Bachelor's, 4 year basic. The bachelor's is now just like another high school diploma.
How about the
$100,000. I was in the cheap program. Nonetheless, residential students who's paying like probably $160. That's 2 houses. Without any guarantee you're gonna have a job. And recover that money. Return on investment. ROI. And then AI too. AI is coming. And now kids are using AI, ChatGPT, to write essays, so they cheat. So they're not really learning anything. They just get by, have a grade, and then so they're gonna be dumber than a box of rocks by the time they get out of school. They're gonna hold a certificate that's gonna be very fake because they didn't really earn it. They didn't earn the credits. They're just like, look, I have a certificate, and then you ask them questions, and they're like, wait, where's my phone again? And then you ask them a question, they ask ChatGPT a question, and then they get the answer from that, and then they tell you the answer. But they can't on top of their head think.
No.
Furthermore, on health and women's health, all of the skincare products, you all know the PFAS, the forever chemicals, are in your cosmetic products and hair and face wash. And so PFAS and microplastics also alter your DNA. It's literally in your bloodstream. And if it is not, it's in our waters. So it's in the fish that we eat.
Yep.
So the fish eat the microplastic, we eat the fish, and then we have microplastic in our bloodstream, which is the forever chemicals. It's there forever. So when you give birth to your child, most likely to have autism, most likely to have a lot of XY chromosome issues, and then of course the new neurodiversity, a lot of learning issues, intellectual disabilities. That's what you've been bringing your child in.
No. David is okay with it. He doesn't want kid too. He's like, I don't mind. I don't whatever you want. He's just good. Always wanted to be a mom before I came to state. And when after I came to state, I
She's sneezing. That's the cutest sneeze ever. And
baby, I forgot about you. The news for you.
whatever you guys get pissed off watching the news, your child will get pissed off watching the news. And who says that they're not going to act on what they see?
Yeah.
And how they're going to act on what they see?
Yeah.
Get radical. So you all have my blessing.
In Asia,
She.
in Myanmar.
What's the point? Asia is also going down to the south.
Oh no.
You can control global warming in there.
Oh no.
It's
The deal with Asia is this. The deal with Asia is everything over there is made in China. And now it has become cheaper. So more cancer-causing products. Cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Synthetic. Even like the squid. Like they were selling it here in the Asian markets. I got a friend named Tony, and he likes squid. He bought a pack of squid thinking that it was real. I thought it was real. He came home and cut it and tried to cook it, and it was like rubber.
Yeah, China food sucks. It's all chemicals. They even make a fake milk.
I smelled it,
Yeah.
and then we brought it back. Unbelievable. How did that come across the United States, get past FDA, and make it into...
Yeah.
And now we're eating, and then you want to go to Asia and eat?
It's not just about Bishan culture. It's about all the aspect, economy, government. Our currency is also changed. For 50 years, we only know dollar currency, like a note that we carry, the paper. That is also changing to a digital currency now.
There is no more democracy, so you don't have a say.
Yes.
And the government swallows all of the money, says what needs to be said, and they control everybody and everything.
Mhm.
What comes in, what goes out of the country.
Mhm.
You have no power in Asia. You have no power. Who do you think you are? Nada, zero, nothing. So that's what's going on in Asia, which is very sad.
In my country, there's a military coup. You can go out after 10 p.m. You can do this, you can do that. I don't want to give birth to my kid to that country. For what? Okay, suppose you manage to give birth and you manage to manage your growth in a house and manage to be really good. What's the point?
The only way our world is going to become better within the next 40 years is if we start electing Buddhist monks to be leaders. If Buddhist monks become leaders of countries and presidents and governors and prime ministers and stuff like that, we have to follow what the Buddha says. And the Buddha says, if you have power over people, then be gentle with them. So we have no choice but to be gentle. We are governed by our own laws and rules. And even if the elected Buddhist monk is an arahant, he still does not exempt from the Vinaya 227 rules. You get what I'm saying? He can't break minor, intermediate, or severe rules. A novice monk and an arahant, same. So that's the only way. That's the only way. So it's and the Buddha gave a whole discourse on leadership.
Yeah.
A whole thing on leadership.
Yeah, she wants to have kids. Like two.
I can say that.
You
I don't even know where I'm
don't
getting
have
married
to.
right now.
Well, a lot of people miscalculate. You just got to prepare for, if you do in fact have kids, what is your plan? Every stage of the way. Every stage. As soon as they can speak, what is your plan? How are you going to start molding this little god that you just gave birth to?
I don't have that energy and I don't want to waste my time doing that. And I have no reason to give birth. I'm straightforward. I have probably a reason. Okay. When I asked this question to my mother is speechless. But she would still tell me to have kids.
We have problems taking care of our own self.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, having another child. we have issues paying for our own health insurance and car insurance
Yeah.
and life insurance
Yep.
and home insurance. That's four I just named that we struggle with. Nonetheless, bringing another life in, and now you just double that.
Triple that.
Yeah, triple that. And then you have college funds, you know, and then books, and then diapers, and then
Food.
and then clothing. You just sit there and you write this stuff out. If you write it out and you see it concretely, you realize, I'm gonna go tie my tubes right now. Hell, I'll do it my damn self. Give me some scissors. Vasectomy. So, yeah, I just hope that, so the group that this is our little group, right? Hopefully none of us have kids. That's a lot of suffering. Just wait for it.
I saw.
It's a lot of suffering. It's coming.
I'm gonna convince my sister not to have kids because she's going to suffer, and watching her, I'm gonna suffer. Which means whatever she does would be my responsibility eventually. So when I convince her not to have
Look at the stories you all told me
yeah.
earlier in the week. Remember you told me about those kids, about the uncle thing? And look at those kids.
Yeah.
And look at the uncle situation, right? Look at what they are witnessing and watching. Look at what you are watching, and you are helpless. You are here. You can't do anything. Look at what those kids are going through right now, because they gave birth to those kids,
Yeah,
and they could not be responsible
Nope.
to be a role model to
Yeah.
those kids. Who's gonna pick up the slack and save them? Where are they gonna be?
Adopt is like
Yeah, where are they gonna be in 5 years? Where are they gonna be in 10 years?
if you want to get, you can help the other person.
That's exactly what I don't want to do. I don't want to help anyone. Don't come on me. That's why
Burden.
burden. I don't want to have that. I want to live my life peacefully. That's why you better not have. You want to have kids, you better have money in your bank to have kids.
You know what scares me, Prisha? In Vietnamese, they have this word. It's a very deep word. It's very, very deep. It's very razor sharp. Razor sharp. Vô ơn bạc nghĩa. Vô ơn bạc nghĩa. Vô ơn is ungrateful. And then bạc nghĩa is meaningless. So when you raise a person, a child, right? That's the two worst thing that could ever happen. Is number one, they're ungrateful for what all that you've done in their life. And number two, it was meaningless. It meant nothing to them. So it goes exactly back to what the Buddha says, where people are impermanent, people are subject to change. People are subject to change. And that's why we Vietnamese have that saying, vô ơn bạc nghĩa. You're ungrateful, and it was meant for nothing. Oh, the two damning words nobody wants to hear, especially if you're raising somebody. Wow. Like, that's like the finality, like the ultimatum that an adult gives before they walk out the door. And yeah, they say, vô ơn bạc nghĩa. That's like a lightning bolt, like the final lightning bolt.
Don't have kids.
Now, my grandmother, I spoke about this, basically took in Uncle Two, which is some guy in the streets. After her husband died, and she took care of my mom, and after my mom went to the United States, she was kind of like bored. So she took this guy into her life, this kid, right? And he was like in his 30s, right? And basically raised him. He's now my unofficial Uncle Two. Tư, T-U, with a little marking at the U. Uncle Tư, Cậu Tư. And basically, she raised him to be loyal to her, to be a good son. And he was very exceptional. There's one time where there was allegations of cheating, and he cheated on his wife, and I never forget it. I think I have it on video. My grandmother cornered him and grabbed him and took the coat hanger, the plastic coat hanger, and beat the crap out of him. So when they found out that my grandmother just died, and then he comes over there, bring her food, all that. He's just such a good son. He was such a grateful son, such a grateful person, grateful. After immediately learning that my grandmother died, they immediately erected a shrine like that in her honor, immediately, instantly, and then sent me a picture of it. Because they were so indebted to what she did for him. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing for Venerable Lee. Raising a kid. Raising a kid. In hope. This is an experiment, right? If this goes wrong, and he's ungrateful, and it was meaningless and meant for nothing, I will disappear off the face of the planet. I will be somewhere in the mountains. You'll never find me. I'll be in the cave. I'll sit in there and meditate until I dry up and die, like a lizard. A lot of monks do that. You know what I mean? But just think about that. Just think real hard and real long about that. How many of them literally turned their backs on their parents and never came back. And you know what? I think this really wakes me up the way that it does is because I've worked these cases. I still have their files. Matter of fact, it's on my phone. I can pull it up on my phone right now. Their clinical files. Their name, date of birth, social security, address. Like Miss Doan and Mr. Min Win and Miss Doan, Ian Doan. And it's funny, right? Even the old guy that we went to. Remember the old guy over there on 25th, 27th Avenue? We go there. And I'm like, where's your children? You're 70, you have this issue, ER, this bloated, that bloated, everything's in pain. Where's your children? And they tell me the children's here in the city. Well, why are you calling me? Why can't you call your children? So I go to the hospital to check up on the guy. He was admitted. Monday, they're doing ablations. They're withdrawing fluids out of his stomach at 70 years old. He looks frail. Dude looks like he's going to die. I walk in and I see the daughter. Mind you, I'm not supposed to judge, right?
Yeah.
I see the daughter and I want to jump out the window of Northside Hospital, 3rd floor.
Okay.
And you realize that's why they're not in the picture taking care of their parents. Miss Bat In also with her husband, Mr. Fook Nguyen, at Alhambra, 38th Avenue. He died in there. They didn't tell the wife that the husband died a week later, so they're a week late. She pissed. She woke up that morning and she says, "Hey, Jidao, I want to sue Alhambra. Take me to the lawyer right now." I'm on my way. I'm literally 1 block from her.
Mm-hmm.
I got a shower and put court clothes on and stuff like that. I go out and I drive. It's like 30 minutes, all right? I mean, all right. I mean, I'm just waking up. Now you want to sue? Fine. We'll sue the crap out of them. I get it. You're angry. I gotta take 30 minutes to get ready, which is a little slow for a guy. I drive. I get there, and I'm like, "Where's Miss Ian?" And like 3 of her homeboys, she had these homeboys over there. She was a character, and the people she hung with was also a character. They're like, she just had a heart attack.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, what? I just talked to her. Where is she? And they said, it was Northside, right? I think she was in a Northside hospital. So I rush into Northside Hospital, and her children are there. But I know that they had 3 children. She tells me, her case, 10 years long. I've sat with her for 10 years. She tells me all the story about their kids. Oh, the big one, which is the older one. Oh, he lives in Georgia with his wife, and then the other one's on the other side of Florida, and there's one here. They're never at her doctor's appointment. So I get there, and she's dead. I walk in, and like I still have the picture. I still have the picture of how dead she looks. It's just like with like this thing at her. I'm just like, and I'm looking at these kids standing there, and I'm like, who are you guys? I'm her son. This is my wife. And I'm like, you only come when they die? Holy shit. Her husband died, so she was pissed. So she didn't even get to see her husband. A week later, she finds out the husband died. So they cremated him at a life tribute near Omerton. We go down there, we get this ashes, and I take a picture with her. Me and her in the ashes. And that was last week. That was like the entire week she was alive. That's it. She died. She died of a broken heart. So when you talk to nurses, RNs in palliative care, and you ask them about how many broken hearts have you seen people die because of it, they'll tell you it's real. My main point is same thing. And maybe I shouldn't disclose too much information. Some of these people are still, some of their sons and daughters still alive. They might come and throw eggs at my house. But their children are here. One of the families, 7 of them here. And they did not show up until her last gasping breath. Northside Hospital again. Like 2nd floor or something. Like I go in there, and this is when I was still doing like security work. And I was so exhausted. The woman wakes up at 10, and she's hurting. Ambulance come. I admit her. I come back. I work, and then at night I had a call. I had to do security at night, and I was like, oh my god, I am exhausted. I take my uniform. I throw my uniform on. I put my equipment on. I go to the hospital, and I'm just like, I want to die. I was like, can I die too? It's really convenient. There's so many nurses there that don't know. They don't know who's who. They don't know I'm an interpreter. They think I'm the son. So she pulls me aside. She's like, come here. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm with the purple team. I just want to let you know that the way she's breathing right now, she is at risk of imminent death. And that's when I realized, oh my god. So I like peek back in again. A room full of all the kids are there. Last moment. All right, I'm not going to share any more stories, but you all get my point. Ungrateful, and their entire life was meaningless. They raised 7 kids. 7 kids. And Miss Ian, 3 kids. And none of them showed, never got to see their son for the last time. And when she was angry, she called me to sue Alhambra. She didn't call her kid. So whatever relationship that was going on there, I don't know. But it's not impressive. So you need to think about that, because this is exactly what the Buddha says.
I just don't want to have kids. It's just not a good world. No reason to give a new birth.
I never got to share that with anybody. I hold a lot of this stuff in because who would understand where the hell I'm coming from? Americans would understand what I'm coming from? The hell? Shoot, by the 18 years old, they leave the house. They'd be lucky if they call their parents once a year. Show up for Thanksgiving. So there you have it. Asians do it. White people do it. Black, white, Puerto Rican, Chinese, you name it, they all do it. So we should wrap this up so y'all can sleep, huh?
Is it about like a living attachment too? When somebody do that like that?
Huh?
When a kid doesn't come and a mom doesn't wait for the kid, is it kind of like a detaching attachment?
I have, every time when I give a talk on honoring thy mother, thy father, I have mixed feelings about it. Number one, I hold the parents responsible because they need to be educated enough. They need to be the wise, not the fool, to lead the right way, the way that the Buddha would want them to lead. But they don't. Half the time, 90% of the time they don't. That's why the kids wound up like this. Is it probably these people's fault? Yes. Did they sound intelligent to me? No, they did not. Was not impressive as parents. So no wonder these are your products.
Yeah.
If the CEO was not intelligent, these are your products that you get.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes like.
So they literally die with resentment.
Yeah.
Die pissed to no end. Then become a ghost and pissed as a ghost. I'm telling you, these people that have died, They're pissed off to no end. Pissed.
Wandering around.
Right. And now they're probably standing here listening to me, and they're probably like, well, damn, we wish we knew the teachings.
I understand about this piss hole when somebody does you wrong or you felt like you've been wrong or something. It's like the resentment stay with you, even though you try to forget about it. It's like comes to you. You're talking about dying moment.
Pissed.
That's so sad. That's another reason I don't want to have kids. Is I don't want to be disappointed, and I don't want to have attachment. I don't want to die like that. At least when I die, I want to die like that.
That disappointment can give you a heart attack alone.
Yep.
The fact that you sit with a broken heart, knowing that your kid did not listen to you, they chose the wrong man, the wrong woman in their life. That, let me tell you about this woman on 28th Street. Holy shit. Holy effing shit. I'm live, by the way. Cute little lady. Quiet husband. Okay, so they're like, all right, I get you guys. All right. I've been on their case for 4 years. Her son marries this thing.
This thing.
Marries this animal. I'm telling you. All right, I'm cautioned not to judge, but I'm trying to paint a very accurate picture. Please don't mistake in that I am a judgmental monk. Okay, I love and compassion and understanding, but there is no other way for me to describe actual real facts, findings of facts, and conclusion of ethics and morality. He married a woman that is an animal in that house. All you have to do is go over 28th Street, knock on the door, and say, we just checking up on Miss Huynh. And you see the look on her face. It looks like this. I kid you not, it looks like this. Have you ever seen evil in your life? You will see it on 28th Street. At the way how the daughter-in-law treats her, oh my God. She revealed to me 2 days ago, Miss Huynh. She tells me, every time when I go to do these knee surgery, she just had bilateral knee surgery and all sorts of issues, right? She tells me every time they put me under anesthesia, I just hope I never wake up. And I'm just like, you're just now telling me that? The whole time you wanted to die? Holy cow. So think about it. The daughter-in-law is abusive to the mother. The son does nothing. I'm angry for her. The stories she tells me in the car, I'm angry. It's not even my family. I'm angry. Shoot, I need to sit and do loving kindness meditation. I'm angry. And I'm like, how come the son doesn't do anything to protect the mom? The mom is a victim. Pure victim. And if we put cameras in that house, DCF would get involved. That woman will be charged for crimes against the elderly. So she basically gave birth to this potato that married an animal that is attacking psychologically toxic to the mother. And the potato does nothing. Potato does nothing.
Isn't it what an Asian family say that woman is very important in a household? It could be a mother or daughter-in-law.
Huh?
Because in Asian family, we Asians say that a daughter-in-law or woman is very important in the household.
They're like they take care of the mom. They take care of everything. So his choice of a wife was so poorly calculated that God is disappointed. Makes Buddha have a drink. Telling you. Just the choice, the decision-making process that I hear, I'm just like, all the gods, Vishnu, Shiva, they're all having a drink. They can't even believe what the hell is happening on earth right now with the choices that they make. So I just want you to put yourself in her shoe what it feels like to give birth, raise them, teach them, then they make the wrong choice. And it's a choice of a lifetime. Yeah, it's like we all make mistakes, right? Well, guess what? Little Johnny's mistake just so happens to be a mistake of a lifetime. You ask any divorce lawyers out there, you ask Stephanie, how many cases she hear like that? How many divorce that went bad, wrong, due to wrong decision-making process? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's rough.
Yeah, it is
It's so
highly
important you choose the right life partner. It's so important.
I'm raising him the best that I can because I want to, because I have nobody else to raise. What am I gonna do? Live a selfish life sitting underneath a tree? But if it goes wrong, then it was just meant to be. If it goes wrong, it's my karma. I'm doing the best I can. But I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for the 3 marks of existence in any humans that come into my life. You know? But this was a very deep and necessary conversation to have. Because any one of you can make that. It only takes one night. One more night. Maybe just one more night. And you knock somebody up, and somebody gets knocked up, and it is over. That little pregnancy test. 2 lines. Is it 1 line? 2 lines? 2 lines, right?
2 lines.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, I pray for them. I'm praying right now.
With the evil eye.
And Venerable Lee has the intelligence at 21 years old to override his hormones. He's 21. 21, they're supposed to go out and catch STDs. If you're not catching STDs, you're doing something wrong. Right? That's research. Oh, right? That's what research says. Research says 2 things: accidental death and STDs. Venerable Lee, 21. He does not want to touch any of them because he knows the headache that comes along. And I test him every day. I test him. The same story, consistent. How he don't want to touch none of them. And I take him to Hooters too, and I'm watch see if he, looking at their booties or not. He ain't. He sees disease and trouble. He sees trouble, disease. He sees anything but attractiveness. So kudos for him. If he ever was to be a saint, it would be saint by virtue of sila. Panati
Because I
pata.
think for him, STEM attraction is more like a intelligence now, like a woman with like value and like intelligence, like know how to handle herself. Just saying,
No.
Your attraction is not physical attraction anymore. You see depth now in somebody. Am I right?
What I told Venerable, what was it, last night?
Mm-hmm.
They're dumb, it's a headache. They're smart, it's a headache. Either way you cut it, it's a headache.
And he's not trying to sound pessimistic. He's not. You know what I mean? He's not trying to.
Why headache?
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Go ahead, have at it. Oh, y'all want to see Venerable Lee? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, hold on. Y'all can see Venerable Lee. Take it over, Venerable Lee. You do tell him. You tell him. You tell them these women right now. they kind. You tell them about they kind.
I might get eggs thrown at me now.
Just keep it real. I mean, the whole time I've been talking, I keep it real. They love these one-on-one sessions, right? They all love it because I keep it real. I know what I'm saying. Go tell them. Tell them. They want to know what you think.
So, I have experienced the headaches, one for 6 months and one for almost 4 years. And like the 4 years, every day, every waking moment, every minute of the day, we'll say 90% spent together. And the Buddha says in Nietzsche, impermanence. Like you just said, people are subject to change. And past the first 6, 8 months, every day everything is great, the honeymoon phase. And then people start to change. And it's not even that they're starting to change, it's that they're showing their actual self.
Yeah.
And especially in. Krisha, you're how old? Mm. So, really around like. I can't really speak for your age group, but like around my age group? Mm-mm. Mm. It is terrible. It is very, very terrible. People base what they think their relationship should be off of social media, TikTok, celebrities, and they'll be scrolling through TikTok and Instagram all day, right? And they'll see relationships, which is only what they want you to see. And they're like, oh well, why can't I have one? And then they start looking at the other partner, and they're like, oh well, you should be doing this, and you should be doing this. Why don't you do this? And it's like, okay, well, they're showing you what they want you to see. And also, have we even looked at or thought about what's going on in the household? Or what they do or how they act to be treated that way? The headaches of, like, that's the thing, like, you know, the Buddha said, literally almost, there is very little that is actually under our control. And we think everything is under our control.
It's not.
Right. So, and then people want, like, okay, I'll speak for men, right? They want the most beautiful girl that they can find. Okay, so how are you going to react when you guys go to the beach and 15 guys come up to her, or when she's getting compliments at work, or, you know what I mean? The wants. They want the most beautiful, they want the smartest, they want this, that. But, you know, then the woman comes home and they're like, oh, listen to this compliment, or oh, listen to this, or they see people looking at them. And it's like, and that's really a good example of how our wants create suffering, dukkha. Because, you know, you want all these things in a partner, and then you get them. Whether you don't get them, you suffer. Whether you do get them, you suffer even more. Because then you see the true reality of it. Then you gotta deal with parents, right? Their parents could just not like you for no reason. Which, the one that I told you 3 months, their parents did not want us to see each other. We literally had to sneak around. You want to talk about headache? And a lot of money spent, and coordinating, and the amount of thinking at 15 you have to do to try and basically be a spy. And it's just, throughout time, everybody changes. You know, you guys might not have the same ideas, goals, you know, whatever it is, or, you know, something could happen with family, and then they immediately change. Depression, anxiety, whatever it is. That's just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, and then not even talking about the STDs, the possibility of having kids. I won't say names. My first ex has had a kid, and I heard she was having another one, and I'm like, oof. I talk about love and compassion. I have love and compassion for whoever that man is.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, true colors come out, and then, you know, people are like, oh, well, once we get this, then, you know, it'll be alright. You know, once this happens, it'll be better. No, it's wishful thinking. They want to believe, and it's comforting, and it buys time.
Well, isn't it what, like, we say in the Buddha, like, anything is suffering, any attachment and relationship, any person anything that we like or we love is suffering. You know, there is no bottom line. Like, it's not gonna be suffering. It's like a five finger. You know, like we have five finger and they are not same. It's like you're talking about two people living a lifelong together. It's like me and my sister is a completely different people. Born with same mother, you know. It's still so different. So like two people can be toxic. And I get what you mean. It comes with a lot of headache.
It comes down to the question of how long you want to deal with it.
Yeah. Like how not a deal wanting, when are you ready to stop this?
Exactly.
It's a question you ask yourself.
And sometimes you don't even ask yourself. Sometimes it's other people saying, "Why do you stay?"
Yeah. If you know that there will be a circumstance that you will be put in a position, in a situation, that situation will require for you to ask this question, it will push you there.
Or extreme measures to be taken.
Yeah.
Or extreme measures needed to be taken to avoid
Yeah.
those lifelong extreme measures
Yeah.
and consequences. I mean, the Buddha said, you know, what everything pleasant or unpleasant, it brings suffering and suffering. Pleasing or unpleasing.
Every time we go live and the camera's on Venerable Lee, somebody put handsome guy is back. And then they put handsome monk in brown. Tell him to wave with the E. Can you wave to your fans? You have stalkers out there.
That's fine. Everyone does. But yeah, I mean that's just
I'm just kidding. I know you guys
I mean
are
I
not
could go on
stalking him.
all night, and I mean in school, what I saw and witnessed, because in middle school I didn't really talk or associate with nobody, so I just watched everybody, and I would watch relationships, and I was wondering in my head, and I'm like, what's the point? And it would never last. And
It's like you know.
yeah, and I basically gathered all of that information, and I'm like, kind of like what we said about, you know, by watching the bad things, they're like, okay, well, let's try not to, or let's never do that,
Yeah.
because we've seen what it causes.
Yeah.
And certain people just want certain things, and if you can't provide those certain things, and they miss other things.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think life is just like a journey. We all need some sort of addiction. Like meditation could be an addiction. Reading could be an addiction if you like it. You know, living alone could be an addiction. Eating food is an addiction. Trying a new food is an addiction. Like if you look at something, like we rely on something to pass this time, but depend on what are you going to choose. You know, the path. And to me, I've always been like, oh, I want a loving guy. You know, I always wanted to be in love. It's a healthy relationship where I find a friendship. I've had my portion of experiences, not too good, not too great. Like, you know, you want something so bad, you don't get it, that's suffering. You know, and then you get something and then you don't want it, that's suffering. It's like I'm creating my own suffering. But then this desire never stops. It's just there. And even though you realize it, you acknowledge it, you can explain to yourself and talk to yourself out of it, but at the same time, sometimes you want it.
I mean, I was just gonna say that I'm not saying that because you know everything's live. I'm not saying that people shouldn't get into relationships. If you want to, then go ahead, but be intelligent and cautious about it and knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And
Recognize.
really ask yourself, is this the right time? And even if it's the right time, sometimes it still doesn't work.
Not the right person. Yeah. You just have to choose a healthy food. You can't expect to pick a fruit and expect it to be healthy when it gets home. You gotta pick a fresh, good, healthy food. And a lot of people do that. They see it all packed and they take it and they come home and they open it and it's rotten.
People make their judgments very quickly and off the wrong things.
The other thing I wanted to add is we look at the example of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. We would agree that Bill Gates has a lot of money. A lot. Perhaps he's the second or third in the world, richest man in the world. And they've done a lot of good. They have the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation where they do a lot of charity. They give a lot of money for charity and to do good. Well, their marriage didn't work out. And that's like, I think 3-4 years ago, they got a divorce. And they issue a public statement saying that, we don't think that we can grow together anymore. And, yeah, we're going to go separate ways now. The other thing from a karma standpoint is that once two people's karmic workings have concluded, that's it. And it is a primary example of what I call the Demigods Realm, of which, so it's not the God that you guys think it is, the Demigods Realm, where they get to enjoy a lot of pleasure, but it also is impermanent. And when the Buddha visits the demigods, the celestial beings realm, they all get scared. They're all like, oh my God, he's here. He's going to tell us about impermanence. Great. He's going to rain on our parade, and the party's going to be over soon. And that's what happens. And you see a lot of like celebrity marriages, and then they get divorces. I call that their karmic sentence has expired, or their karmic sentence has come to an end. So meaning they met, they had a lot of money, they enjoyed that money for a very long time, bought everything, cruise ship, jets, jewelry, diamonds, that's some diamonds like that big. And then the downfall, pleasure, pain, pleasant, unpleasant, the flip side. The Buddha says never forget the flip coin of what that is, because it's just waiting right around the corner for it. And when you just sit there and think about Bill and Melinda Gates with all this money, and the marriage was irretrievably broken, is what the law would say, irretrievably broken, and no chance of reconciliation. And the courts would ask questions like, if this court finds a marriage that, counselor, do you think you could benefit from it? Well, that'd be a no in their case. A lot of things is no in their case. That's why they got the divorce. And, so what makes we think that our marriages would in fact last? And for how long? How long would it last? According to our karma. According to what we've done good and bad. And how long will it last? For some, it lasts a lifetime. For some, it lasts to like 80 years old and they get a divorce. Can you imagine that? 50 years of your life dedicated to this person. And at like the couple more last year of your life, they want a divorce. I've seen it.
Yeah, I have also seen that most of the Asian and the Indian culture, if you really look at marriages, especially in India, and like most of the Asian arranged marriages are very common. People get married because of the status and stability. People get married because the guy is rich, or people get married because the woman is young and beautiful. Now, when you are making that sort of deal into a marriage agreement, which they consider as a business agreement, they don't treat marriage as a pure relationship where two people meet and decide to get married. They decide that for you. Now, I'm not saying that all the cases are wrong. I mean, there are some beautiful relationship comes out of it. But when it doesn't come out to it, they blame to that, and they just like kind of like sacrifice it. They're like, oh yeah, we are celebrating our 20 years of like marriage, but all they were doing it just was compromising every day. They are not happy with each other. They are not communicating with each other. They are not telling how they feel. So finally, like when they are like the kids are older, they are like, okay, you know what? The kids are very big and it's now out, and they usually try to act straight. That's why you will see older people getting divorces more like older age, like in their 40s and 50s and 60s, And most of the common thing you'll find in all the divorces are the kids are either older or the kids are old enough to separate them. It's also common in Asian and Indian family.
Mm.
So just because of they passed 20, 30 years, you can't really say that they were happily married.
Yeah, here's what I'll add to that is that, because I've seen it a lot,
Yeah.
that's the story a lot of the times is they just stay together for the kids.
Yeah.
When you do that, you're doing more harm than good.
Yes. And that's what happened.
You're
It's-
doing more harm.
It's just like I don't like rice. No, just eat rice because you're gonna survive this and you're gonna pass through the life. They will ask you that what you want to do. It's like Asian parent, you got married, you're like, Mom, I don't like this person, I'm not happy, he doesn't treat me good. Well, babe, have a kid, it will be fine. It's like you are asking them to come into more and get into more shit by asking them to have kids. It's not gonna solve the issue. It will just make them stay in that toxic relationship for longer. And I find it mostly in Asian family, like Asian people, Vietnamese, Philippines, India, Burma, like people just marry for like status.
Mm-hmm.
They don't choose somebody because they want to be with. They don't have kids because they love that person. Because you can't have a kid if you don't love each other and you don't have a foundation. Like, don't say unexpected pregnancy, you know? That's irresponsibility to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've yawned like 3 times already, so we should let you rest.
I'm always like that. I don't
Because we're
want-
boring. We get it.
No, I would never think and say that. Don't put the judgment on me. I like you guys a lot.
Seattle mean master.
Seattle.
Mean master.
Mm-hmm.
In Burmese.
Mm-hmm. In Burma, they say
Seattle.
Seattle.
Sia.
Yeah. You have Uzin too. Ashin, and then Uzin, and then Seattle.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Can you turn off the light? I want to turn on something.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. We need to talk about super secret spy stuff. Remember that? Super secret spy stuff. Y'all can join my YouTube, and you want to show your face? She's on American Most Wanted. She killed somebody before.
No, I'm just living in the background.
Okay, gotta go. They gotta talk to me about some important super secret spy stuff.